Welcome to Downtown Sports. My name is Downtown Stephen Brown, and in today's video, guys, I want to go over the most recent Toronto Maple Leaf game between them and the Detroit Red Wings and highlight some individual performances and just talk about some things that are going right with the team right now. But I also want to go in depth on a rumor that was said during the second intermission on the broadcast when it comes to Peter Mrazek. The Red Wings were on the second half of a back-to-back coming into this game. They did play the previous night against the Pittsburgh Penguins, and they went the distance in a shootout and actually snuck out a 3-2 win. So I can understand if you were frustrated with the Maple Leafs, especially going into that third period, being down 4-2. The Red Wings played the night before. Maybe you're not very happy with their effort. This is a game that they should have won. But to give the Red Wings some credit here, you do look at their record, 19-19-6 on the season overall. But heading into this one, they were 13-7-3 at Little Caesars Arena, so they are a pretty decent team at home. Even though the team wasn't able to generate much with a balanced lineup approach, Matthews, Marner, Nylander all on separate lines, and then when they switched it back to the old lines where Bunting, Matthews, Marner, Kerfoot, Tavares, Nylander are together, things just seemed to click immediately. I wouldn't abandon the balanced lineup approach because the more line combinations that you have that can work, the more you're able to disrupt and change the rhythm and pace of a game. And certain things some nights aren't going to be working and other nights they are. So to have more options available to you is better than not. So I would encourage them to not abandon this just yet. Keep rolling with it because it's going to be something that helps you out down the line. If we're taking a look at forward lines that have been together for a minimum of 125 minutes so far, the trio of Michael Bunting, Auston Matthews, and Mitch Marner is absolutely incredible in terms of their expected goal percentage, second best in the entire NHL. And that's a testament to how many steps forward Auston Matthews has taken in his development in his defensive game, how good Mitch Marner already was in his defensive game, and how good offensively all three of those guys are. And it's amazing that the Maple Leafs have that as an option available to them, but I still wouldn't abandon that balanced lineup approach because if they can find success with multiple combinations, they're going to be able to be less predictable, right? The ability to change the pace and disrupt the rhythm of a game for another team is a valuable thing to have in your back pocket. But in following up what I said a couple of videos ago, we are going to be taking a look at how that fourth line performs over the next little while because since the beginning of 2022, no matter who's on it, it's been an absolute disaster. And in the game against the Ducks, it wasn't very good. But in the game against the Red Wings, Spezza and Simmons were able to feed a lot off of Engvall's speed in his transition game, and really through the first and second period, that was really the only line that the Leafs had going for them. So hopefully it's a step in the right direction, and they come out playing hard again in their next game. I promise you, we will get to highlighting some individual performances and talking about how great some Maple Leaf players have been over the last little while, and we will touch on that Peter Mrazek rumor that was mentioned in the middle of the game on the broadcast. But if we're taking a look at the NHL standings right now, the Leafs 7 points behind the Lightning, 10 points behind the Panthers. Oh no, what are they ever going to do? It's like the other teams have played many more games than them because if you sort it by points percentage, they're still right there with them. They're still right there with them. This Leaf team is very good. Those other teams are very good. I'm excited to see where this goes, especially because the Leafs haven't played the Panthers so far this year. So we're going to see a lot of them down the stretch. But I want to take the next couple of minutes to show some love for Michael Bunting because he's tied for the team lead in total points at 5-on-5 so far this year with Alex Kerfoot. Both of those guys are in front of Auston Matthews, John Tavares, William Nylander, and Mitch Marner. And if we were to sort it as per 60, so to level out the ice time, those guys would be in front by even a wider margin. And that's not a dig on the big four, right? We are hyping guys up right now. There doesn't always have to be a scenario where one equals the other. And if we're taking a look at where Michael Bunting is taking his shots this year and where he's scoring his goals, it's right in that inner slot area, right in front of the net. And that's an area of the ice that Sheldon Keefe talked about in the Amazon All or Nothing series that he wanted his team to be better at. When there's less time and space, when you're playing against better defensive teams in the playoffs, you're going to need to score those greasy goals. And you bet Michael Bunting scores some greasy goals. And if we're taking a look at where he took his shots last year for the Arizona Coyotes in the limited amount of games that he was able to get into, this is not a coincidence. This is the reason why the Leafs went out and got this guy, because he's able to be effective in the dirty areas of the ice, especially right in front of the net. And the best thing about him is that the Leafs have him for $950,000 this year and next year as well. Out of 149 forwards in the NHL to have at least played 500 minutes at 5-on-5 so far this year, Michael Bunting ranks 19th in terms of total points per 60, and he's in really good company here, and so is Alex Kerfoot as well. It's unbelievable what both of those guys have been able to do for the Maple Leafs this year. We talked about this in our previous video, where we looked at what the Maple Leafs could potentially be looking to do at this year's trade deadline, and we talked about Alex Kerfoot as a guy that they may look to sell high on, and we discussed the pros and the cons of making that move at the deadline as opposed to maybe in the offseason, because freeing up that $3.5 million against the cap opens up the door to do a lot of other things. And I'm not going to tell you not to enjoy the career season that he's having right now. The numbers are absolutely remarkable. But if you're looking at the actual numbers versus the expected numbers, there's a major discrepancy there. And that's what we do here on this channel. We're going to look at these numbers and we're going to talk about them. But I will in no way tell you not to enjoy the season that he's having right now, because it's amazing and it's a lot of fun. And if we're taking a look at Michael Bunting, there is a bit of a discrepancy between the actual versus the expected results. But again, I would never tell you not to enjoy Michael Bunting as a player or the season that he's having. Obviously, those expected results are a bit stronger than Kerfoot's. But again, they're both just absolutely ripping it up for the Leafs right now. Michael Bunting loves Darcy Tucker, and Darcy Tucker loves Michael Bunting. It's beautiful either way you look at it. Maybe you saw it in the moment, or you caught it on social media afterwards, or this is the first that you're hearing of it, but Mitch Marner did point to the sky after the game-tying goal, where he made a very nice pass out in front to Michael Bunting, and he did that because his grandmother had passed away earlier in the week. And obviously, thoughts and prayers and condolences to Mitch and his family. But that's just an amazing moment for him to have. He was electric in that third period, and he's been amazing the last bunch of games. Just good for him in that situation. And just before we get to the Peter Mrazek stuff here, I thought that we would point out that Morgan Rielly does have 32 points in his last 32 games since signing his contract extension. He's been amazing for the Maple Leafs this year as well. But in finally getting to the stuff about Peter Mrazek, during one of the intermissions in the 32 Thoughts segment, Jeff Merrick had this to say about him. There's been some speculation on the future of Peter Mrazek with the Vezina-like season Jack Campbell is having. I checked around on this. There has been no discussion that has been initiated by the Maple Leafs about Peter Mrazek. They see him as part of the program for this season. However, there have been some teams who have called the Maple Leafs and said, if you are looking to make a move with that goaltender, give us a call. We are interested. Very much there is a marketplace for Peter Mrazek. For Kyle Dubas, all goaltending decisions are going to take place this summer. Now look, I've been more positive when it comes to Peter Mrazek than most. I've been willing to give him the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, he's been injured. Yeah, he hasn't played a lot. But I was willing to say that, him beating the Islanders, even though they were one of the worst offensive teams in the league, was a step in the right direction. I don't know how many steps it was, but it was at least a step in the right direction. But here, again, in this game against the Red Wings, I'm not saying that it was all his fault. I'm not saying he was the reason why they were down 4-2, but he definitely didn't help. Kyle, if somebody is willing to take him off of your hands, do not give him the rest of the year and wait until the summer to continue to play not good. All right, fine. You don't want to say that he's bad, just not good. Don't give him that time and that opportunity. Find another goalie to place a bet on that would be less riskier and that is not occupying $3.8 million against your cap for the next 2 seasons. If the Vancouver Canucks will trade you Yaroslav Halak, and mind you, you could probably get him for cheaper right now, because if he plays 2 more games, he's owed a $1.25 million bonus. If you can get Yaroslav Halak and you can find somebody else to take Peter Mrazek right now, Kyle, please. I know that you like to be loyal to your players, Kyle. And I'm not saying to just stab Peter Mrazek with a giant claymore right through the chest like the Vegas Golden Knights did with Marc-Andre Fleury. No, this is not the same. This is not the same. Just do what is best for your hockey team, please. If this is true, please. It's okay to admit that sometimes things just don't work out, right? Michael Bunting, Anze Kasha, David Kampf, absolute just home runs, just missiles right out of the park. Nick Ritchie, Peter Mrazek, man, you swung at something in the opposite batter's box. It hasn't been good so far. To give the situation some sort of credit here, on the screen right now are the numbers of the goalies who are available in free agency this year, coming into this year, going back to the 2019-2020 season. I showed all of these stats in a video that I did in the summer, looking at all of the free agent goalies that were available, including Jack Campbell. And Peter Mrazek ranks 7th on this list out of 12 guys in terms of save percentage, 4th in terms of high danger shots against per 60, 3rd in terms of high danger save percentage, 12th in terms of medium danger shots against per 60, 6th in terms of medium danger save percentage, and 2nd in terms of the goal save above expected. Hindsight is king, but this guy was one of the better options that was available to the Maple Leafs this summer. If you don't want to say that he's been bad so far, he definitely has not been good. I would never suggest to trade Peter Mrazek away without acquiring another goalie, and that's why I'm suggesting Yaroslav Halak here, because I would not be comfortable with one injury to Jack Campbell away from having to throw Joseph Woll and Michael Hutchison in there as the only options. But if you are able to get another guy, and Yaroslav Halak has been good in the games that he's played so far this year, I would prefer that, especially because his contract expires at the end of this year. But again, all of that is just based on what Jeff Merrick said being true. If it's not, then they probably don't have any other options. But what do you guys think? Make sure to let me know down in the comment section of this one, and make sure to like the video if you did like it, and subscribe for more, because more is always on the way. And guys, I'll see you in the next one.